Welcome to another episode of Wolfie talking about stuff that isn't important. I'm your hostess, and I'll be playing a speed paint of my character Nicole in the background for today, so you can either relax and listen to my ranting or pick up a pen and draw with me. Today's topic: fandoms. Specifically, stuff that I feel like we should leave in 2024 for this year. I'll be going over a few things that I hate about modern fandoms first, and then go over a few things I like about modern fandoms next.
Hey guys, so I actually never go over anything I like about fandoms in this video. That whole bit was a lie. All of these things are things that I don't like about fandoms.
Most of this stuff was mainly visible on TikTok and Twitter, so if you're looking for examples, go to those places. Some of this stuff is little things, while others are things you can see everywhere, both good and bad. So, without further ado, on to the first subject. This new fandom is toxic now. First of all, no it isn't. People are so quick to label a fandom as toxic nowadays for having one drama or even just a few people doing something that everyone else clearly doesn't agree with. Whenever a new fandom is made, you'll have a lot of people saying, "Let's gatekeep this community before it becomes toxic." And I gotta say, babes, you gatekeeping the community at all is still kinda toxic. I'm gonna go out on a whim here and say that a pure fandom simply just doesn't exist. There will always be these three inevitable things that you can't avoid. Someone coming in and stirring up shit, someone pushing their headcanons and ships to insane lengths and bullying others who don't agree, and last but not least, Rule 34. Though I do feel like you can control Rule 34 a bit, but do not quote me on that. The point is, gatekeeping your community won't stop people from joining it. If a creator makes something to share to the world, let them share it to the world. Keeping your community small won't help them achieve their goals in the long run. Sure, it's comfortable at first, but it can't stay like that forever. You should try contributing to their success instead by telling more people about it. Because guess what? Even if it did stay small, the smallest of communities can still grow into the most toxic ones with just a few buttons being pushed. A fandom truly becomes toxic in my opinion when you choose to start a war within the community by blaming it all on one side and saying, "The new fans are doing this." I promise you, half of the stuff happening isn't strictly because of the newer fans, it's also because of some older fans who just decided they wanted to be shitty for some reason. TLDR, fandoms aren't toxic because they grow and do fandom things, they're toxic because the older people within the fandom are policing everyone, blowing small discourse out of proportion, and are giving you a pop quiz every 5 seconds. Name me 5 of the oldest and most obscure characters. How about you name me 5 bitches? I'll wait. Over characterization.
Yes, you've heard the term mischaracterization all the time, but let me tell you about its evil younger cousin. This is when a person or people in a fandom overanalyze a character that doesn't need analyzing. You could be able to describe a character in one word and they'll give you a paragraph of information, some of which isn't even canon, just speculation or straight up fanfiction taken seriously. What makes this bad is that sometimes these people will get mad at the community for making a tame joke about them and say, "Nah, they're more serious than that." Now, yes, overcharacterization does just sound like another word for mischaracterization, but the difference is that instead of missing the point, they rewrite the point entirely. Mischaracterization will be something like a character being too innocent or a cinnamon roll for just looking cute and being shy. Overcharacterization will be something like they act shy because of their dark past and are so much more deeper than the fandom says they are. Both of these are wrong. The character in question is literally just an introvert. Now, yes, it can be fun and even creative to write about a character's every move and pretend like it's important. But it gets bad when you convince yourself that you're the only one who's genuinely correct about the character and anyone who disagrees with you is wrong. It gets worse if you're one of those people who constantly bash on inside jokes within the community and make others feel bad because the joke is too inaccurate. We know it's not accurate, but imagining the character doing something like that makes the joke funny. All in all, please don't rain on the parade of others due to your own stories. Headcanons encoded. Let's be honest with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We've been misusing the term coded so much throughout the last few years. For those who don't know, a coded character is someone who is implied to be a certain way, like a sexuality for instance, without downright telling or showing the audience that they are. This is commonly used to bypass some kind of censorship within either a country or a company. Many Disney shows had gay-coded characters because of how Disney was, and honestly still is, with LGBT individuals. And let me be clear when I say this. Coded is canon. When something is coded, it's sometimes usually backed up by the creator confirming their intent. But with the internet getting a hold of the phrase, it's turned into another word for headcanon. And headcanons are just something a fan makes up and is never actually canon. You know, like Shadow the Hedgehog being into Latinas. I love that joke. If I'm being honest, I was fine with the whole thing too. I just thought it was a silly little thing and have even used it ironically on occasion. But I think my last straw was when someone tried to use the term sibling coded to justify why a certain pairing is problematic. By the way, sibling coded doesn't exist, because you can't code siblings. Every single person who has been a fan of something Hoyoverse has made knows what I'm talking about. And if I'm gonna be honest, the Hoyoverse communities just love to overuse the term coded to try and justify something and label it as problematic. No, Farina and Nouvellette from Genshin Impact are not related and therefore can be paired up romantically. No, Dan Heng from Honkai Star Rail is not gay-coded, it's actually Dan Feng, his previous incarnate, which I'm pretty sure he's actively trying to distance himself from. Little side comment here, but I feel like we could solve all shipping discourse if we just made everyone canonically bisexual. Or we could also just make them poly. Polyamory is one of the things that Project Sekai Fandom excels at. But anyways, getting back on track, I feel like we should return the word coded back to its original state and go back to using the term headcanon. It's been causing us too much trouble and we've been fighting over this stuff for way too long. It's time to stop.
Purity culture! Before you ask, no, this isn't about NSFW. I'm only talking about that shit when the time comes.
I'm talking about the people who try to make themselves seem better than everyone else for simply being a normal person. Mofos will look at the most fucked up parts of their community and say,
at least I don't act like those fans.
Okay, do you want a cookie? This applies so much whenever drama happens with a certain creator and suddenly these people come out saying,
I'm glad I never liked them anyway.
Yeah, you can say that, but you aren't exactly unique for having that opinion, you know. Half of the community isn't gonna like them after this either. We don't need people to bring up all the shifty and dirty things within their own community just so they can label themselves as better than the majority. You don't need to say,
at least I don't do this like other fans.
Lead by example. Have you ever heard the term actions speak louder than words? Fandom wars and civil wars inside of a fandom are the epitome of this kind of purity culture. They'll bring up the worst of each other just to make the other side look bad.
These shippers are doxing people. Oh yeah? Well, your fans are sending death threats.
You both are garbage. Now shut up. Now, there is also another kind of purity culture, but that applies to the internet in general rather than just fandoms, so I'll save it. Let's just say people are starting to treat certain NSFW artists like they're demons who will draw your OC if they're conventionally attractive. I'm looking at you, Derpixon fans. She's a normal person. Please stop tagging her and everything and saying Derpixon reposted like as if she's not allowed to enjoy normal things. It's kind of annoying. Moral of the story, be normal. Have fun, make fan art, don't be a piece of shit, and don't be an egotistical Puritan. Don't gatekeep all of the good things, and don't start wars for nothing. We all like the internet, and we all use it for various sources. It's not fun to be constantly nagged all the time, and it's certainly not fun to be the one nagging either. That's all I got though. Try letting me know some things you like and dislike about fandom culture within the recent years. Try not to be an asshole about it though. I'm allowed to be one because it gains content. I'll be working on a script for a video about well-known and really specific tropes that I like in media, ranging from the most normal and popular to the most specific ones that you probably didn't know was a trope until I described it to you. This year has been full of many things, but it's only February. It was January when I started recording this, by the way. So we have a while before we really get screwed over yet, except for anything government related. Fuck you, US government, you know what you did. I know I didn't talk about much, but I felt like if I put more points then I'd end up eventually targeting specific people, and I don't want that to happen, so I stopped at 4. Like, subscribe, I'm 30 miles away and rapidly approaching, and bye-bye!